Yahoo Fantasy Auto Racing Week 23 in the Tucson Racing Group. The Carfax 400 was held at Michigan, at the Michigan International Speedway on Sunday. Your winner in that event, Kevin Harvick, picks up his third victory of the season, his first victory on a non-restrictor plate racetrack, which is huge, making a big statement to the other drivers that he can win places other than Daytona and Talladega. Rounding out the top five this week was Denny Hamlin, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, and Matt Kenseth. As you see, Roush Fenway Racing had third through fifth. They also had David Reagan in 11th. Roush Fenway Racing was represented by Jack Roush at the racetrack just 2.5 weeks after his near-fatal plane accident. So he definitely lifted the spirits of the drivers, you could tell by the results at one of Roush's notoriously best tracks. In the point standings, Kevin Harvick pads his point lead with the victory and clinches a spot in the 2010 playoffs. Jeff Gordon, second in the standings now, 293 points back after a difficult performance. Denny Hamlin's now third, 353 points back. And rounding out the top five are Tony Stewart and Jimmy Johnson. We're also keeping a close eye on the race for 12th as the top 12 make the playoffs. And whoever gets into that 12th spot after the race at Richmond in 4 weeks, will be in the playoffs. Everyone else will be outside. Clint Bowyer holds the 12th spot after a day that really saw Mark Martin struggle more than Clint Bowyer find success. Bowyer now 35 points to the good. Martin outside by 35 points. And Ryan Newman trying to keep pace. He's 103 points out of 12th right now. Notes from the race. Casey Kane won the pole for this event, but failed to lead a lap. He got loose on lap 1 and was never able to touch the lead from that point on. Kurt Busch, a lot of people hung their hat on Kurt Busch having a good day. He blew up 30 laps into the event, wound up finishing 40th. Jeff Gordon had a terrible qualifying run, started in the 30s, worked his way up to the top 5 before finding some trouble on the racetrack, getting into a little bit of a bump and run situation with Jeff Burton and a couple of other drivers in traffic on a restart. This caused him to fall all the way to the back again and finish there. So a disappointing run despite a huge effort from Gordon and his team. Another feud this week, Ryan Newman and Joey Logano got into it on the racetrack. Logano was way loose in turn 4, could not contain the car, wound up spinning out Ryan Newman by accident. Newman took offense to this and confronted him after the race. So we'll see if that spills over into next week's action at a short track, which is notorious for retaliation. Also, Mark Martin, as we talked about, falls out of the top 12, falls to 13th in the standings with a disastrous day. Had a very strong car, looked extremely aggressive early. That aggression found the wall. He bounced off the wall on his own accord. Struggled for the rest of the day trying to get the car back to race shape and wound up finishing a lap down. Jimmy Johnson was actually winning this race at one point as well. He had some issues on pit road, wound up being a non-factor for the rest of the event and finished outside the top 10. The dominators of the race, Tony Stewart, Greg Biffle, and Kevin Harvick, they were the class of the field all day long. With 11 laps to go, Kevin Harvick gave Denny Hamlin a shot on the backstretch to let him know he was coming. The very next lap, Harvick got around Hamlin and cruised to victory. In the Tucson Racing Group, the cruising to victory was done by Lightning McQueen. With 274 points this week, McQueen picks up their 4th win of the season. Now, none of the teams in the league managed to start anybody any more than one top 10 driver this week. A lot of the scores were really low. Greg Biffle was the lone top 10 driver for McQueen this week. He finished 4th. The rest of McQueen's team was 14th, Casey Kane, 21st, Regan Smith, a quality C start there, and Ryan Newman in 23rd. Second this week, Team Edwards, the driver, 216 points was enough to get second place this week, edging out the wall always wins by just a point. One top 10 driver for Team Edwards, that was Joey Logano in 10th. Had Casey Kane in 14th, A.J. Allmendinger in 17th, and then the disappointing Kurt Busch, who finished 40th. The wall always wins, missing out on second by just a point with 215 overall points. Had one top 10 driver as well. That was Matt Kenseth in 5th. Had Jimmy Johnson in 12th. Brad Keselowski out of Group B wound up 34th. And Bobby Labonte was very disappointing in 33rd. 4th this week, Hulk Smash with just 196 points. Had one driver in the top 10. That was Matt Kenseth in 5th. Another driver made a top 15 finish, Casey Kane in 14th, and then the next two drivers were outside the top 30, Sam Hornish in 32nd and Kurt Busch in 40th. Fifth this week was Greek Thunder, rounding out the top 5 with 186 points. Best finishing driver for Thunder was Kyle Busch, who finished 18th, edging out Dale Earnhardt Jr., who had 19th. This team was very disappointing this week. Jeff Burton was 24th. He had some on-the-track issues and some pit road crew issues. And then Paul Menard was 35th. Now, this team managed to take 5th using Casey Kane's 10-point bonus from qualifying. That helped edge out High, Wide, and Handsome, who scored just 183 points, gave up nearly 100 points to the Lightning McQueen squad, finishing 6th this week. Best finishing driver Clint Boyer in 13th and Casey Kane in 14th, but then had Sam Hornish 32nd and Kurt Busch in 40th. So only the second time this year Handsome misses out on a top 5 finish in the process. Rounding out the field, Whoa, a left turn, collected 3 points this week. Still needs to reset that lineup. Only got 3 points from Clint Boyer's qualifying bonus. The same can be said for Oh No, a blowout. Just 1 point this week off of Tony Stewart's qualifying bonus. Also needs to make lineup changes. And lastly, Kane Rules got no points. Has yet to change the lineup in many weeks now. In the overall standings, High, Wide, and Handsome now just leading by 177 points. McQueen took a huge hack at that big lead and is edging ever so close. Now Hulk Smash sits third with a 355-point gap between him and the leader, but only 34 points separate Hulk, and fourth place The Wall Always Wins, who's 389 points out of first place. Rounding out the top 5, Team Edwards is 653 points out of first place. Just 51 points, though, ahead of Greek Thunder, who continues to try to make strides, making up for that first race missed. Now just 704 points out of first place. Rounding out the field is Whoa, Blowout, and Kane, all thousands of points behind. Next week is week 24. It's going to be a Saturday night race, the Irwin Tools 500 at the Bristol Motor Speedway, the half-mile short-track concrete monster. Should be an amazing race for sure. A lot of competition and action going to be on the track. Definitely going to shake up some of the points in the Tucson Racing Group and probably in the NASCAR standings as well. Now, your pool for drivers is going to lock Friday at 2 a.m. like it normally does, but your starters are going to lock early, obviously, because the race is on Saturday. The starters are going to lock Saturday at approximately 4:30 p.m. So you're going to want to make sure your lineups are set Saturday, so you have your starters in place before Saturday night action at the Bristol Motor Speedway. We hope to see you back next week for your Week 24 recap.